So I was just sitting around thinking about this game. I thought I might play it for a little while. We get a level test the levels, get a little bit of level testing going on. Yeah, so I was just sitting around thinking about this game, per usual, you know, standard day, normal day. Wake up, think about Dead Rising 2, drink coffee, go back to sleep, you know, do it all over again. So I thought it would be therapeutic to just play the game and just think about it for a little while I play it. I don't really play this too much, not all too much these days, because it's like, I don't know, you can only play a game so many fucking times. You can only play a game so many times before it just becomes like, monstrous. I just want to walk around in it. That really has become the main theme of this game, is that I think if you get the debug version of this game, you can like turn the zombies off. Or you could do it with Cheat Engine, I guess, if you found like the enemy list. You could just set everything to 0, but I don't have the patience for that, so I'm not gonna do it. But it would be cool to have no zombies in the game. That way I could walk around freely and relax. You can kind of see right there on the newspapers how bad the draw distance is on the port of this game. Because I think this is like a bona fide Xbox port. Because it's games for Windows. It was games for Windows Live when it came out. So if you look at the newspapers over there, yeah, look at that. It looks terrible. I'm looking right at it. That's bad, man. I'm literally right here. Damn. I think this year, October this year, this game will be like a decade old, 10 years. Which is pretty substantial, I think. There's a couple games that are getting to be, there's a couple games that I think are getting to be that old now. Like, I was talking about Mortal Kombat 9 the other day. That either is already or it will be 10 years old soon. I don't know, it's starting to feel like a forgotten age of games for sure. Like, this certainly wasn't the era of photorealism. Maybe we're not even in it now, but like, the way games look now is not, I mean, it's the ship has sailed. It's a whole other thing these days, you know. But there was like a brief period that I love where, you know, like immediately after the PS2 era was done, which lasted like, also the PS2 lasted like 10 years as well. So like, when the 360 dropped and the PS3 dropped, well, no one knew how to develop for the PS3 for like the entirety of its lifespan, but when the 360 dropped, it was a pretty good architecture, and it was like all of a sudden now there's like, you know, you have way less memory restrictions, you know, texture started looking good, you know, you started to have really high poly models and stuff like that. Mocapping, people were, you know, the first Dead Rising game has a lot of really nice mocap animation and stuff like that. Which I believe they mocapped the voice actor, I forget his name, TJ something. I believe they mocapped the voice actor for Frank in Dead Rising 1, which is pretty cool. For like 2006, like that was going to be a PS2 game, you know, originally, early on in development. So it's pretty cool to see, like, I don't know, I just think stuff like that's cool. I think it's cool that like it was a Wild West type deal, you know, at the beginning of whatever that is, the 6th console generation. The beginning of the 360s, it was like a real Wild West type deal. And the result of it is just like some weird fucking games. Like it took us so long to figure out about like texture displacement and bump mapping and things like that, and like no tessellation or like I mean, it's understandable. GPUs back then probably couldn't handle anything of that sort, but I don't know, like this era of environmental design, this era of like, I don't know, I mean, everything has to be designed intentionally. Like someone had to look at all of these lamps on the ceiling and decide that there is going to be 500 of them all in this weird octagon shape. So you know, it was definitely different for level designers in this period specifically, because you know, you didn't really have the usage to make these kind of things. You didn't have the capacity, you know, to make these kind of things. So it's cool to see what people did during the first couple years of really running wild with the new console generation. And there's a couple good examples of that. Dead Rising 1's a good example, 2's a good example. When did Dark Souls 1 come out? I remember, it's like Demon Souls is probably a better example of that. You know, just seeing what people do with, you know, I don't know, there's stuff that becomes there were some huge leaps, you know, in gaming around this time, like Dark Souls 1 having such a crazy, you know, vertical map where you can see so much stuff all at once, and you know, there's all this stuff happening, all these characters and things like that, and you know, there's not really like load screens, you know, like there's like cutscenes, and then that kind of triggers a change in the map or something like that. But for the most part, it was a new leaf in gaming, you know, and I think it was a special time. I don't think games now can really capture that. Like when you play, I don't know, when you play GTA 5 or something, it's like you just play it and you get it. It makes sense, you know. Of course, there's all of this stuff here. Of course, there's like a million pedestrians, and there's all these, you know, newspapers flying across the ground and stuff. Like I remember in Grand Theft Auto 3, the little newspapers that flutter around the map, and it's like that was a mind-boggling effect for the time, you know. So I think it's just cool to see how games become more alive, and it's harder to well, I don't know, most people would say that there's less care put into like modern game worlds, and I don't know if that's exactly true, but maybe people just need to make smaller games. I don't necessarily think there's anything wrong with that. You could really make a small game very vibrant if you were to flesh it out over a long period of time, you know. So maybe that's the solution to like a lot of the problem. I wish there was more of the development archived or documented for this game, because there's like, I don't think there's almost none of Dead Rising 1, and this one had a little bit of fanfare stuff. Like it had the crazy collector's edition that came out with the Zombrex thing, and then it had like a poker set that came out. It was like $200 or whatever. But it's cool to have little cosmetic things like that about a game come out, but it would be cooler to have you know, stuff like actual documented, you know, people working on the game behind the scenes talking about their thought process and things like that. Probably that's one of the biggest bummers to me, is like the history of games, like the history of like things, artistic works or whatever, like it disappears, you know. And that's, if something's interesting, the creative process of that thing is equally interesting to me, at least. So yeah, I don't know, I've spoke to people who knew people who worked on this game, but that's about it as far as like my personal run-ins with like things that have you know, extended lore about this game. I wish there was more stuff to know. I wish there was some sort of a, I don't know, maybe on the wiki there's some weird trivia shit, I don't know. That's the kind of thing that I wish was more accessible. And off the record, the spin-off to this game, I guess it's like a spin-off of one, I don't know. It has a concept art library in it, which is pretty cool. It's like really cool, actually. Like that's a good example of like, you know, shit in old games that was like, it really added to the experience of you know, if you want to be a fan of something, if you want to enjoy something, you want more stuff to enjoy about it, you know. So being able to see the concept art and I remember like Chuck's concept art and Off the Record, his psychopath art is really I remember thinking it was cool. I don't even remember what it looks like now, but there's some cool stuff in there, little secrets and things like that. I'm not sure if this game has too many secrets. I'm trying to think. I'm gonna have to get the Zombrex here in a second, otherwise I'm gonna fucking ruin everything. Oh wait, I don't know if I've ever you can go grab Zombrex right over here, and maybe you can just skip this whole thing entirely, saving Denise in there and finding those looters. I think that might be possible. It's kind of a pain, especially doing it for like the 1000th time. This game definitely has a quality to it, though. One of the nice touches is the way that the color grading changes. Like when the way the color grading changes when you enter and exit areas. That's a good little it was standard procedure, I think, for the era. Like Dark Souls does that a lot as well, and like instead of having some sort of post-processing, like, I mean, it technically is post-processing, but it's nothing complicated. It literally is just like a, you know, like RGB, just put a tint on it or like change the contrast a little bit. It's pretty cool. I like to see little things like that about how they go about changing little environment. You can kind of see it right there. Out here we have got that green tint on the stage there from the lights, and you can see the cube map for the reflection there. Crazy. This was standard. This looks so bad, and it was standard procedure for like every game for like 10 years. But yeah, you can kind of see the lighting shift. Yeah. So that's pretty cool. I like little systems like that. Things that the developers had to be really intentional about. That's kind of how you can tell the real mark of, like, you know, how much thought was put into making this a decent experience. It seemed like, though, if you look at like the development of this game and if you look at how this game sort of came along through the early trailers and onward, and then if you are into modding the game at all and you look at any of the files, you can see that a lot of the work was done like immediately, like because this game it's basically a mod of Dead Rising 1, you know. All the I believe the files for the food court and Paradise Plaza, the main, when you come out of the security room, those two like map files are still in the packed up data file for this game. So if you go in there and look at that, you can see like the vectors, the vector 3s from like where they were drawing the vertices and stuff and spawn points or things. So that's pretty cool. So I think maybe not having to, you know, I think this game uses Havoc physics as well. I know the first one does. I think this one does too. But, you know, not having to worry about you know, getting player movements set up, getting, you know, the physics libraries working, getting graphics libraries working. A lot of that shit was just, I would assume that, you know, pretty much everything was just running off of Dead Rising 1's backend. So it's like, you know, you have way more time to iterate and be creative, come up with things, you know, work on little things like this, little map, you know, intricacies, you know, stuff like that. And that's a pretty common thing across the board too. Like pretty much every game that is a mod or like a sequel, anything that's built upon an old game, generally speaking, the development process is so much better because you're not wasting fucking, it's not Cyberpunk where you're wasting 15 years, you know, writing your in-house engine. Which is fine if you want to do it, but you know what I mean, if you want to make video games, you should make video games. You shouldn't be if you want to write an engine, you should write an engine and, you know, leave it at that. I don't know, to me it just seems kind of seems like a waste of time. And I think the way that this game is special plays a big part of the fact that you know, the core game was so perfect already, you know, and you can see that too in how much stuff that they replicated in this. Like, pretty much the entire intro to this game is like a copy of it's like a copy of Dead Rising 1, like to the top and the bottom. Like, you start off you know, little intro sequence, everyone's dying, whatever, you know, you go to the safe house, okay, gotta get out of the safe house, get back into the mall or whatever, go through the vent, you go out of the vent, you find 2 survivors that are a couple, like someone's talking to you on your walkie-talkie. It really is it's a bona fide sequel, you know. I love this right here. If you roll a 7 on the craps, you get see if we can roll a 4. You get a little bunch of XP. I don't think you can knock it over though. You have to roll it, which is like really frustrating. So it's like the game, just from the jump, the game was so like, the game was already done basically. It would seem like, to me anyway, I don't know, if I was working on this game and, you know, you handed me the entire source code to Dead Rising 1 and you were like, all right, make 2, you know, I mean, what's there to do? Make some maps, make some models, write a story, you know? So, you know, I think at its core, this game is just so much more creative than Dead Rising 1 in certain ways. You know, one's a little preachy. The first game's kind of preachy. It's got some ideas. It's got a bunch of stuff that it wants to do. I don't know if I'm gonna fail this. This would be interesting. Get a skateboard. It's a little preachy. I like that they kept some of the songs too for the like, look at that. See if I can get over here and get a better look at it. Like, I really think that is like a really unique piece of like world design. Everything okay with Katie? I think that's cool, man. Especially that it's like for the central area too. That's pretty cool. A lot of negative space. I feel like. There should be like a better way of describing sort of level design like this, because it's not claustrophobic and it's not exactly linear, but who cares about this shit? Yeah, it's like not exactly linear. It's very open but very claustrophobic at the same time. It's a weird mix of a lot of different level design styles, I feel like, because it you know, you see this area and you have like, there's a general urge to like explore, and also it's enhanced by the design of, you know, oh, everything is a weapon, you can pick up everything. So now it becomes you know, how do I get better at looking for stuff, you know? Is there some sort of secret item that I'm gonna find? Is there some unique things? And there is, in this game, there's a lot of, you know, you'll find, you know, a little LMG on the top. If you climb up to the top of the thing, there's a machine gun, or there's Zombrex up there, or like $10,000, something like that. So that's pretty cool. I guess I gotta go do this real quick. I wonder what happens. Does she despawn, the survivor? Does she just disappear now? Keep playing. Story stuff. I feel like this game's story is definitely more like two-dimensional in a lot of ways. It's not an improvement over the first game. but you know, it's not. I don't necessarily think it's a bad thing. It's just like the story is motivating enough to at least want to know what happens at the end. But other than that, it's like the first game was a bit more scary in the way that it presented things like I don't know, your motivation as a character, Frank's motivation as a character. He was sort of, you know, digging a hole for himself. A very deep hole towards the end of the game. In this game, Chuck is just like, he just kind of hangs out. He's just there. He doesn't really have any reason to do anything other than if he didn't, there would be no game. I think it's cool that they touch on his origin story stuff. Like so there was a comic for this game called Road to Fortune, I think this is what the comic was, but it's just about Chuck in like Arizona or something. He's at like a motorcycle, he's doing backflips or whatever, and then there's like an outbreak, and his wife turns into a zombie and he like has to kill her or whatever.
What possible reason would I have to do something like that?
Why are they saying you're part of
But beyond that,
One meeting.
he's literally just the guy.
I lost my wife. Look, I don't know what the hell is going on here, but I'm being set up.
So yeah, there you go. A lot of good exposition in this.
It's not the first time members of Cure have been falsely accused of being involved with an outbreak.
Alright, I don't know for this. Yeah, the story is not exactly, you know, it's not anything to write home about. It's not necessarily bad. I don't think there's nearly anything as sinister in this game as the first one. Like, towards the end of the first one when Isabella starts explaining the the stuff with Carlito about the orphans and shit, and it's like, man, that is fucking sinister. Like, that is heavy ass shit. So you gotta play the game. You gotta play one if you want to know about all that shit. But then of course with this game you got the addition of combo weapons, which seem to fucking dominate the game. I don't know. I mean, they really pushed for it. Like the promo, the tape or die stuff was the whole promo to this, and like, I mean, they were serious about it. It was gonna be a huge. Man, look how bad that box looked. It was gonna be a huge step for this game to have that kind of, you know, whatever combo weapons. But it's also like, man, you really dig yourself into a trench with that one, because it's like, you know, it's a game about collecting stuff and like, well, I guess it's not really about collect. I wish the game was about collecting stuff. It's more about finding one thing that is usable, you know, for X amount of time. But in this game, it's just, you know, does it have a blue wrench icon, and can I turn it into like a lightsaber? So now it's all of a sudden, you know, a huge gameplay mechanic is like now pretty severely augmented. You know, for better and for worse. The combo weapons are fun, obviously, but you know, are they fun enough to wipe out what, you know, the original design of the game was? Because, you know, in the first game when you find a good weapon, it was pretty special. But I guess they broke the rule in their own game, like, because you fight Adam like 20 minutes into the first game, and his chainsaws, his little hand chainsaws, just keep respawning, so you can just use that for the rest of the game if you wanted to. So yeah, maybe one is to blame. I don't know. I really don't know. I mean, I guess a counterpoint to that would be, at least in 2, there's like a lot of really good weapons, and not just one like little mini chainsaw thing. So this is the Dead Rising 2 version of man, what are their names in the first one? Like Kathy and Jeff Myers, right? And her name's not Kathy. What is her name? I guess it doesn't really matter. I don't know why I'm saying. I guess I'll just let him hang out. So I'm maxed out in this. This is just an old save of mine. So a big part of the first game was the, you know, the special moves, the jump kick, and the, in this game it's an elbow drop. In the first game it's like a knee drop. I don't think there's a wall thing. In the first game you can like jump on a wall and kick off of it, something like that. I don't think you can do that in this. I'm gonna leave these people because this is gonna annoy me if I have to listen to them. So I'm gonna go over here. So there's a oh god, they came with me. All right, go on, go. So there's a pretty reasonable amount of skills, I guess they're called. Curb stomp and the front kick. You can do a little Dark Souls roll. You can do like a big ass drop kick. There's all kinds of stuff. And all of these are, other than like the jump kick and the roll, pretty much everything is separate from the first game. So they redesigned all of these moves. You know, you can do this shit now. You can do the big elbow drop now. I think you can football tackle in this game. I don't know. You can do like the leg sweep. I feel like the skills, the special moves or whatever, I don't really feel like it's an improvement on the first one. The first one, it was real fluent. This game has a bit of a problem with its like animation state machine or whatever. I don't know exactly how they designed it, but if you can see it, what is going on with this? If you can see it, there is a really clear, what's a good way to describe it? There's like a wind down time to every action, right? So if you want to stop walking, you know, Chuck has to like legitimately stumble for a second before, like, you know, you can't just stop on a dime because it has to play this like wind down animation. So everything sort of has to go back to this base idle animation of just standing there, right? So we'll get out of here, I guess, because there's nowhere to stand. So, but if you want to swing or if you want to jump, or like if I'm moving forward and I want to swing, I have to pretty much come to a stop, lose all my momentum, swing, go back to a full stop, get done swinging, go back to idle, and then you can start moving again. Like there's no blend tree for the animations at all. Now I understand that's like, you know, inverse kinematics and procedural animation and shit like that in new games is a really big deal, but you know, the tech wasn't there back then or whatever. There are games that have fluent, the first game has very fluent animation trees. Everything functions really nicely. You know, there's not a huge delay. The only time that you ever really get momentum stopped in the first game is when if you like run directly into a zombie, Frank will just he'll just stop. Which is a weird feature, but it'll keep you from, you know, it'll keep you from being too Rambo, which I guess was the purpose. You know, you don't want people doing too much in your game, or you know, glitching out the AI or anything like that. So I think that's pretty reasonable. But yeah, man, this game is the total opposite. You know, you want to get off your skateboard, you full stop. You gotta hit literal zero movement. You know, pull it up. You gotta pull the board up. It's like a whole thing. I don't really understand what the product of this was, especially considering the first game doesn't have this problem. I think it's a big like gameplay killer. Like the gameplay is in this game's fine and it's good, but it's more like it's a bit Silent Hill-esque, I feel like, in the way that it's, you know, you really don't feel like, I mean, you know, half the time you have really good control. You can move around on a dime any direction you want. You know, there's a little bit of a delay when you want a 180, but it's not as bad as like Dead Rising 3 type deal where everything, you know, you have to like, your character literally has to do a whole fucking spin just so you can walk backwards and stuff like that. I don't think it's a huge deal. It's something that always comes to mind when I think about this game. But yeah, it's just, I think maybe it's a Capcom type decision, you know. A lot of the old games, I mean, it's certainly no tank controls, but it's like, it's pretty close. Like if you look at like like everything's pretty committed. Once you're swinging, you're pretty stuck there. You know, you can't really like jump out of it. If you roll, it queues it up for the next animation. So like, let's say I swing and then I click right now, then I roll when I'm done with the blend, whenever the blend tree is over. Or I guess it's not blending, the animation tree. Whenever the swing ends, then the roll starts. So you can see how much dead air is in there. Like that's like a second, if not multiple seconds of no movement, nothing happening, no momentum. If I was working on this game, I would consider that to be like a huge problem, like massive. Like you would need to, you know, whatever you would need to rewrite to fix that, or animation system needs to be altered. That would have to be pretty high on the list, because that's like, you know, that keeps the game tethered to this slow atmosphere and like. But yeah, again, maybe that's what you want for a game like this, so maybe it's a good decision. I can't say for sure. It just seems like to me, you know, you gotta have good movement. Or if you're gonna make, you know, if you're gonna make a Resident Evil game or a Silent Hill game, just do it. You don't need to have really tight controls and then really loose controls, because they don't really blend right. You just pick one and design around it, it seems like. But not too big of an issue. It's not anything that it would be good if it was addressed, I think, but I think it might change the flow of the game a lot, because again, it's like one doesn't have that problem, but also in one, you know, zombies are way more dangerous in one. You can't really just wail away on shit. You don't really have good weapons like you do in this game. You can't be nearly as confident as you are in this game when it comes to things like I don't know, crowded, you know, the underground tunnels, and like, I mean, this game is a real, you know, get your gun and just start blasting. Like, zombies almost pose no threat in this game. So, yeah, maybe it works for the design, maybe it doesn't. Who am I to say, really? I think maybe the crux of this game is just like the environmental design, because it's special, man. It's something else. Like, you can really just walk around and like, just the atmosphere is so good, the music is so good. The designers did such a crazy job on this game. Like, every store really has such a particular vibe that it's like you can just one look at it and you understand, you know. Especially the food court. This is like a pretty underappreciated area, because like nothing, there's like one boss fight over there, there's a survivor over there, and for literally the entirety of this game, I believe that's all that happens here. You have to come here to get something in overtime, I assume, but other than that, like, it's wide open. And like, a lot of work went into this area, you know. Like, there's like a lot of stores packed into this little area, a lot of props, a lot of things like that. And it's connected to Slot Ranch. There's not even a loading screen or anything like that. So this store is really cool, I feel like. Love the cowhide seats. That's pretty cool. I think this is one of the only places in the game you can find a barbecue chicken. Like, maybe this and that other restaurant in the one in Americana. This is a big area back here. There's really nothing happen over here. It seems like there was supposed to be stuff planned for this. Maybe not, though. Look at this. There's even like a wine cellar over here. Very cool, man. Is this a dispenser? Wow, look at that. I didn't know there was a dispenser for vodka in this game. So I think that maybe is where this game shines the most, is like just the TLC, you know what I mean? Just the little things they put into this game stand the test of time. 10 years later, 11 years later, I'm still thinking about it. I still want to walk around in this game. This couch looks ridiculous. Whatever, this booth. There's way too many seats. Like, look at this area. This is the least space efficient thing I've ever seen. But you know, you're gonna have a big boss fight here, so you're gonna have a lot of open room. I never noticed that there's like 6 bottles of wine there. That's pretty cool. So this is where the Anton boss. Is it Anton or Antoine? This is where the boss fight is. Can't go in there, I guess, until the fight's ready to happen. This is a pretty cool area. Pretty standard. But it has style nonetheless. I like the mountains. This song seems to stick with me too. Every time I hear this, I think of the boss fight. One time me and Jay were playing co-op on this, and before the fight had started, we came over here to do the boss fight and get the survivors and stuff. But before the fight started, I grabbed the moose head and and put it on, and in the cutscene, Anton's like cooking in the scene, and he's like, in the boss fight, you walk up and this chef or whatever, and he's like, I'm cooking people, delicious. And Chuck's like, what? But he sticks his he sticks his face down in the pot, you know, to get a whiff. And in the cutscene, it leaves this moose head on, so it's just a whole snout, just like buried deep into this in this pot. And we laughed about that probably for like, we still laugh about it, so it's still paying off. Pretty good item. This is the only place this spawns, I think. Can't get this anywhere else, and it's a ridiculous item. It's like a variant of the Terror's Reality. There's a little PvP thing that they added onto this game where you can compete in the beginning, the little game show, and you can compete against people. And there's like, in one of the Terror's Reality game modes, you have like a X Games version of the moose head, and you have to like kick up zombies into like a grinder or whatever into it. Terror's Reality is a super cool, I wish I could get some footage of that, because that's a super cool part of this game that's dead now, because it's this game got ported to the Steamworks multiplayer stuff probably 3 years ago, and you don't need Games Mode as live anymore, so that's pretty good. But the problem is no one plays this game. So by the time any interest in this game had worn off, that's when they decided to give it a half decent multiplayer system. So you can't really get into Terror's Reality matches anymore. Maybe if you coordinate on like the Steam forums or something like that, a time for everyone to get on. And I think maybe that would work. I hope the servers still work, but Terror's Reality is definitely a cool. Yeah, there it is on the top right there. It's definitely a cool. Oh fuck! I forgot about this.
Hey, buddy.
Yeah, this is a cutscene that leads to a boss fight that is mandatory in the beginning of the game. You have to do this every time you restart the story. You have to do every time you walk into this level. You have to do this. This guy and his tiger.
Look what I found you, pretty girl. Fresh meat. Whoa. Look. There's plenty of
I gotta take my hoodie off. It's so fucking hot.
No, not zombies. The meat's rats.
Yeah.
Like all her food now. It went bad. She needs meat. Fresh meat. Okay. Not zombies.
Had to take the sweatshirt off. Getting overheated. Talking about Dead Rising. It's important business going on in here. So, in this game, there's gifts that you can bring back to the, there are gifts you can bring back to the safe house for your daughter in this. So, there are certain items. If you remember in the first game, when you take pictures, there's like, if you put like a servbot head on the zombies or whatever, they get like the outtake tag. They're like tagged with different, types of photos and things like that. Items dictate photos or whatever, brutality and horror and stuff like that. So in this game there are like outtake items that have the tag on them. So if you bring Katie like a funny item, you'll get some XP for it. I I don't know how well this I don't know how well this holds up here. This fight seems a little it's definitely an Americanized scene. I'll say that. It's probably the best I can say about it. Some things in this game have not aged well at all, but just the way it is, I suppose. So, because of the outtake items and things like that, you can, in this fight, you're supposed to, so like you fight the guy first, and then it's just the tiger that's left, but then you're like, that's weird, why was there a cutscene? So, God, that is hard to get away from. So there's some things that, you notice there's like steak around, and you're like, okay, well, he has half a health bar, so I was too late on that. So you can feed him these steaks, and then you can like recruit him, and then he'll walk around for you. I only have 4 steaks. Oh, I had that one already. Dude, he's aggressive. This is usually not a problem. So if you tame the tiger, you can bring it back to the safe house. Katie likes it a lot. You get a bunch of XP for it. You can also just let him roam around with you. If you're so inclined, because he is pretty effective. But I think he'll die eventually. You run out of stuff. Like, you can only feed him steak, I think. And steak's kind of hard to come by. So the strategy for this, even though I'm doing a really bad job of it right now, is to just throw the steaks down. Where did he go? Jesus. I have my, I'm maxed out, so my throwing ability is like, I throw shit way too far. A good strategy is to just drop them as well. He's super unpredictable. So, sometimes this takes a while. Sometimes you get a really good run on this. Sometimes not so good. He normally stays over there and comes at you from like the front. But that's definitely a cool little thing early on in the game. I remember when this game came out, me and my brother, 2 friends of ours, we were all on our laptops, our Dell laptops in 2010, and we were sitting around in a room that was like 90 degrees because we had all of our laptops running this game at like 20 FPS or 15 maybe, pretty bad. And when everyone got to this part, everyone was like pretty hype about it. People thought it was cool. It's a good early on sort of like, this game's crazy type deal. I think it adds a good little flourish. It's definitely is exhausting doing it for the 20th time, but it's cool nonetheless. The Willamette jacket that I put on, I think you get that from, there's some achievement you get, like opening every combo door or whatever, like where you go to make the combo weapons. If you open up all those doors, you get this jacket, I think. I just like it because it looks like it's from the first game, so it's it's a cameo. If you notice also, everything in here is turned off. All the screens are black. There's no, I guess it's trying to say that there's no power, but everything else, like there's plenty of electricity. So you have to go in here, and you can totally miss this. Even if you know this and you're just not paying attention, you have to come in here and get this guy. This is like a little reference to like Rain Man. I don't know why, but I guess if you work at Blue Castle Games and you're working on Dead Rising 2, you want to put a Rain Man reference into the game. But you gotta go over here and he'll show you how to turn on the power to the Yucatan Casino, and then he has a little, he references the movie. If you can see the the wrench icon is like flashing right there. That's what lets you know if you're holding something that you can make like a combo weapon with. If it's flashing, you'll know. So you can make like a, I think it's the boomstick or whatever. I'll try to do it here in a second. Not super concerned with saving anybody this run or doing anything appropriate. I just wanted to walk around and look at stuff. So, but yeah, Snowflake is a G, man. He just chills out and he'll take care of like everything. So you can see is the Easter egg. Flip a little switch here. Looking pretty good over there. Now you can play big boy blackjack on the big screen. So this is like the first hour of the game, totally missable. You could play through the entire game and not have the power turned on to this casino. And it has like, I think it's video poker actually, yeah. Oh, it's roulette, okay. Well, I guess that's not a big deal. Who really wants to play roulette? So there's little books, or I think they're magazines in this game. The first game has books that will give you stat bonuses if you have them in your inventory over here, if you keep them on your person. This game has magazines. It's the same deal, but you can get there's 3 different ones for gambling, and they each multiply like your win percentage by 3 times, so it's like 9 times exponentially, I think. I'm just spitballing, but that's a good little feature to this game. It's a good little mechanic for when you want to, if you want to farm the money and get $99.2 million. But it's little things like that that give a game depth, you know? It's nice little things. Fuck. I was gonna make that. I broke my pitchfork. I think there's another one in here. You can spend a pretty massive amount of time doing absolutely nothing in this game, which I guess that makes it a good game. I don't know. It's almost like sensory overload, this one, because it's all casino based, and if you've ever been to a casino, you know it's like a hell world you can't escape from. It's it's too much going on. Man, I could have swore there was a pitchfork in here. You gotta be kidding me. So like the marbles here, this is a good example of like an outtake item. If you take that to Katie, she likes the marbles. And man, there's some real here's a magazine for the health stuff. Whoa. There's some real some bummer features to this game, I guess I should say. There's some bummer moments, like you know, per Dead Rising 1, there's a lot of stuff that's the achievements are really hard for the most part. In this game, there's an achievement for giving Katie all of the gifts. I think it's called Father of the Year or something like that. But in order to do that, you have to wait until like the 3rd day, and then you get a call about some guy who's in like he's in like an art space, and you gotta go. So there's 2 achievements that contradict with this quest, right? So you have to get this guy's painting, and it's called like a funny painting because it's like a little stick figure, and the guy, he's crying about how, you know, nobody likes his art or whatever. It's funny, but the important part is that you need the painting. You need to give the painting to Katie to get the Father of the Year, and you also need to kill a zombie with the painting to get the achievement where you you know, kill a zombie with every blunt weapon in the game or something like that, or every weapon period. And those 2 contradict, because once you kill a zombie with the painting, it's ruined, so you can't give it to Katie anymore. So the only way to do it is to either do 2 full runs or save scum it and just, you know, boot it back up. But there's no way to do that perfectly in one run. You have to choose one or the other. That's a bummer. I really thought there was another pitchfork over there. trying to think if there's anything else that I... Maybe we should go to every location once, right? Palisades is a real good spot. I think this is the most reminiscent of the first game in terms of design, like level design. Palisades is like super... Oh, wow, these guys are here already? So there's in both this game and Off the Record, there's this quest in pretty early on, earlier than I thought, where you gotta come over here and save these guys. But this guy here, Jack, he has this little knight helmet on, and later on, if you save him later on, you have to play like poker with him at the safe house and some other people. And once you beat him out in poker, you get his helmet there, and you can collect the full set and turn into the what's the guy's name from Ghouls and Goblins? What's it, Ghosts and Goblins? It's the old Capcom game. You get the knight, King Arthur, from whatever, Ghouls and Ghosts. So you can get that. That's the Easter egg outfit in this game, like Mega Man in the first one. But I mean, how can you beat that? How can you beat like full on? And Off the Record, there's Proto Man, which is pretty cool, but it's not as cool as Mega Man. Not a big fan of the art. When you have the King Arthur armor on, your little yellow health bricks turn to like steel or whatever. They turn to like iron, and you can take a bunch of damage, and then it like resets, or it breaks. So it's like, I just don't understand the point of it. So like in the game, when you get hit, you lose your armor and you just run around in like your boxers, and that's the same thing that happens in the, if you take enough damage, and I don't think it resets either. Like it's just enough. Like obviously you're gonna take a certain amount of damage over a certain amount of time, so it's gonna break regardless. And then when it does break, you are running around in your boxers. So not exactly the most efficient, especially compared to the DLC outfits in this game. With there's the ninja and the soldier and the psycho, and there's 4, right? The ninja, the psycho, oh, and the sports fan. And all of those, the sports fan lets you like drink infinite alcohol and not throw up, and it lets you run. It gives you like a 30 speed bonus, like the numerical value is 30. I don't know what the full. It adds like 1 brick to your little speed thing, so you have, you know, 3. Presumably that's 90, I guess. 90 speed if you wanted to look for the if you wanted to look for the address in Cheat Engine. It's something like that. But Sports Fan is really effective. When you play through this game normally, the main thing that you want to do is you want to get 1 article of one of the DLC clothings, so that way you have 4 buffs. Just 1 item will give you the full set bonus. Like, you know, normally in WoW or whatever, you need the full set to get the bonus, but you just need to wear 1 item to get the whole bonus. So they actually fixed that, and Off the Record that you have to wear the whole outfit if you want the set bonus. But you get pretty ridiculously powerful because you get the speed bonus. You can drink forever. The soldier one gives you like 3 times the bullets of normal. Like I have 40 shotgun shells just from picking that up, 60 handgun bullets. Oh no, the moosehead spawns here. Cool. So and then the ninja outfit, you pretty much become totally invisible to the zombies everywhere, which is cool. Let's put the SWAT. I like the SWAT outfit a lot. This is being young playing this game. I remember thinking this outfit was mad cool because it really like changes the the vibe of the game so much. It really turns into a Resident Evil game. And then what's the other one? The Psycho. I really have no idea what the Psycho one even does. Like it gives you like more. I know that it gives you like a Friday the 13th animation or whatever. Like when you get the kitchen knife and so there's like light attacks and heavy attacks in this game. So you can tap X, or if you hold it. Maybe this one doesn't have a heavy attack. So everything has a light and a heavy, and the heavy ones are usually like, you know, zoom in, make a whole big deal out of it. It's like a Mortal Kombat fatality. But when you have the psychopath, set on. Oh, sorry, Snowflake. It adds a little adds like a little Friday the 13th animation, and I mean, I guess that's cool. I don't know what else it does. I mean, the Psycho outfit does look cool. It's nice looking. Wow, all the times I've played this game, I had no idea that these were even in this. I had no idea you could get slippers. That's pretty cool. I don't know if I've ever even been in here. Oh yeah, that's rocking. Obviously, everyone, this is the main attraction of this game, is that you get to cross-dress and ride on like a tiny ass bicycle or whatever. That's what this game's famous for. But yeah, the second one is definitely not why I don't think worth and well, I guess it's a little weird. So like what I said was wrong actually, and off the record they didn't change it for the DLC. So okay, there's 4 DLC outfits in this game. There's the Sportsfan, the Ninja, the Psycho, and the Soldier. So you have to pay for all of those still on Steam. There's no Ultimate Edition or anything that's bundled with it. You still have to buy those on Steam. So for off the record, it has those 4 outfits in the game by default now. It's no longer DLC for that game, but it does have its own DLC. So now there's 8 total outfits, right? So if you buy the off the record DLC, which doesn't work on Steam anymore, so don't buy it. But if you play like the PS4 version and it has it, you can wear one set of all 4 of those clothes and you can have all 4 set bonuses, but you're not allowed to do that for the old DLC outfits. You have to wear the whole thing, which sucks because the Sportsfan, you need that speed boost early on. And you know, the Sportsfan isn't exactly the most it's not the most styling of the outfits. This is an old, what is this called? Oh yeah, the knickknackery. Yeah. This is an old, I don't know if it's still called that in the first game, but this is an old, it's an old store from the first game that was re-put into this. Still has the battle axe. Battle axe is a different move set for Chuck in this game, particularly a worse one. It swings in a big arc like this. And in the first one, Frank kind of swings it over his shoulder, does like an overhead, which is just better. I think it's just a better move set. One of the reasons Off the Record is so good to me is that, you know, not only did they restore all of his, you know, his special skills like his jump kick and things like that. You can also do a jumping swing with this, but they restored all of his skills and they also restored all of the move set, which is some real cool attention to detail there. You know, being able to bring back the battle axe swing and the broadsword swing and stuff like that. Really appreciate that. Off the Record gets a bad rap in general, I think, but it was like, that was a real for the fans type game. So I'm glad they made it. Seeing as Dead Rising 3 and 4 were not for the fans, but Off the Record definitely was. And that also goes back to what I was saying earlier, that, you know, Off the Record is even cooler because it's like a mod of a mod, you know? They really just took Dead Rising 2 and they were like, let's make it even weirder. But you know, it's still all stemming from the first Dead Rising game. Pretty cool. Pretty cool stuff, I think. This is another weird item, the Swordfish right here. I think, like, once again, I could be wrong, but I think this is the only place where this spawns. This is an example of like the heavy attacks. You hold X, that stuff kind of happens. That's another thing about the overall design. I don't know, the gameplay design or whatever, is it's like, it's cool, you know, to have this this attack. Like, wow, you know, really mess the zombie up or whatever, but, you know, how does this fit in the gameplay? You know, like, is this really improve? Does this help me kill zombies faster? Does this help me get to where I'm going faster? So it's like super, that looked pretty cool, I guess. I don't know, it's just, it's all over the place, it feels like to me. This is Atlantic. I don't know if it's Atlantic or Atlantica. This is one of my favorite areas, just because I like the blue. There's the Reed and Roger sign right there. That's a really good boss fight that happens later. Really hard boss fight. These magician guys. I like that this stuff just sits here, like, while you wait for the boss fight to start. I'm definitely a fan. I think they did a good job with this area. I would like to know what the process was for making all this stuff. If different designers had reign over different areas, and you can tell which ones are better, you know, like which ones were just being more creative with it. I think I don't know if it's this one or Americana that has the underground. Later on in the game, there's like a hole that gets blown inside of one of the buildings, and there's like an underground tunnel that you can take. A lot of weird stuff like that. Like, this game loves, you know, it loves Dead Rising 1 as well. Just locations that make no sense, geography that's totally, you know, unwarranted, and like just does not make any sense at all. But I think it's cool because it makes the game, everything wraps around and feels weird. Like, you know, for the most part, the whole game is like, you know, it's in a circle, it's an oval shape. The map and everything. This game has the same, it has that same shortcut thing between, you know, the two polarities or whatever, you know, like this is one side of the map because it's where you come out, I guess, and then this is like considered to be the far opposite side of the map. So if you go here later in the game, you can teleport between these two because you find like a secret tunnel or whatever. Very Capcom way of doing things, it seems like. Love the outside areas in this game. The exteriors are really, really nice. Love these big arches over here. Billboards and everything like that. I don't know what is with the bloom going crazy right now. Don't know what's up with that. Okay, chill that a little bit. The post-processing in this game is just, it'll always be really strange to me. But love this right here. Love that you can get right up to the gates. The first game you don't really get that clarity because the only exterior is like totally walled in. But in this game you can really, you know, you just walk right up to the gate, you can look out, you can see the exterior of the map, you can see the road out of there. I think that's a cool, you know, psychological addition. I think that's a cool thing to have in the game, like Silent Hill 2 when you're in the hotel and you can see out of the window and things like that. You see the sun coming up. A lot of cool stuff. Love this pattern over here, this design. Fortune City Hotel is cool. Not a lot happens there. The game ends there, sort of. The main story ends there, not over time. That's it. There's like there's like 2 fights there. There's like a middle, and then there's an ending. Oh no, it doesn't. It ends in Yucatan. Yeah, never mind. Fortune City Hotel, like nothing goes on here, but it's huge. Not a lot happens. Kind of reminds me of Dead Island a little bit. How everything's like a resort. I would like to play through that again. That's another interesting game from this era. I like that you can see that there's like you can see the little tables up there. I don't know if I've never noticed that before. The seating area up there that you can't really reach. You can climb up on this though and have a look around. There's a lot of climbing, a lot of secret climbing areas in this game. Oh yeah, we got the guy shooting a shotgun over there. He's one of the beginning of the game survivors that spawn in. There's the pickaxe back there. It's kind of a rare item. Big teddy bear. Oh, I missed that. I think there's another one. I think you can get up right here, right? Or do I gotta go over? Not a big fan of that guy. Not a big fan of survivors with guns because they they usually end up shooting you. So yeah, there's a lot of these like stuff that you can just sort of mantle on. Yeah, there's a big LMG up here. It's a good example of like the game's pretty easy if you know where to go, what to look for. but it still rewards you for, you know, it's rewarding. You can jump to here. I don't remember what's over here. Maybe a magazine? Oh, there they go. I failed the main story because I didn't go to the Fortune City Hotel. Much like the first game, though, if you fail this, you can just continue playing. And, oh, there's a Psycho book. Oh, look at that. I didn't even know that was in this game. I guess that's vaguely useful. And off the record, they switched around all of the... You know, all of the secret areas are still the same, but all the items are switched around, so... Something different would spawn here, and, different book over there. Not sure what it would be, though. What was I saying, like, 30 seconds ago? What was I saying 30 seconds ago? The game rewards you for looking around. I don't know. I guess that book would be useful if you were gonna if you were gonna like kill a lot of psychos really fast. I don't know. Some of the books are not really important. There's another achievement where you have to spray paint all of these Zombrecht signs. It's pretty easy. It's just like time consuming, not really. I used to think that the series was really good for achievement hunting and stuff like that, but I've done a 180 on it now. Like, achievements that waste your time in games are just not cool, you know? Like, if you want to have a challenge, you know, beat the game with no, I don't know, no health. Don't use any health items. Like, that's a good challenge, you know? Because you get health from leveling up and stuff like that. So theoretically, you could do it. It'd be interesting, but instead it's like, kill 72,000 zombies, which is not possible. I mean, it's definitely possible, but it's really difficult, even if you are, so here's the thing, you only have 72 hours. Oh, I think that was what I was going to say earlier. So, like, the main story ends, and now the ending is just that, I think the ending is just that the military shows up and, like firebombs everyone or something like that. So, like, now that the story's ended, Chuck dies regardless of what you do, which is kind of funny. But you can, so if you want to get the 72,000, because the first game 53,000 was the big joke. It's the zombie genocider achievement. It's like when you're in the beginning of the game, the guy in the helicopter is like, oh, there's 52,000 people in this town, so if you kill 53,000 zombies or whatever, you've killed the whole town. And that's the joke. And this one, it's 72,000 for like no reason. Other than the fact that this game just wants to be a bigger deal than the first one. And the thing is that you have 72 hours until the military shows up in both games, but the thing is that if you don't do the main story, you're not going to have enough time to kill 72,000 zombies, because you need the extra day of overtime. So not only do you have to go over here, I think I got the welcome to the family. Yeah, okay. Wait, is welcome to the family? I don't remember which one is the... One of these quests unlocks the shop and stuff. And if you go over to the shop, you can buy a key to the SUV, which I think is what people use for the 72,000 achievement. You could, I guess, use the bike. You could put the chainsaw on the bike and use that. So right off the jump, there is a key in here. This guy let me out. Let me in. Love the way the looters look in this game, though. They look awesome. Wish there was a way to like have their outfit, because like they're looking fly. You can buy Zombrex in here. Buy these combo weapons. Where's the key, my man? Is it not in here? Oh, it might be on the other end. That's a bummer. I don't want to walk down there. That's what I mean about the NPCs always shooting you. Yeah, I guess the SUV... I thought it was right here. Oh yeah, I guess I'm crazy. So you buy the key for like, you need $2 million off the jump, like straight up. You gotta have it by the beginning of the game, so you gotta do it on a different save, load up your save, have 2 million, get the SUV, get the book that makes vehicles last longer, you know, rack up, and you gotta have a pretty efficient route too, because you don't, you know, you don't have time to waste. So you could be doing it wrong for like 14 hours and not really know until you get to the end. So you gotta do that, then take breaks to go do the storyline, and then just come right back and get in your fucking SUV and do this shit non-stop. Are you kidding me? Man, I've been playing this longer than I thought. I cannot believe that this quest is already ready. I really just thought I could walk over here. So whatever, this is a cool boss fight where it's like your rival, and then he gives you the bike key so that you can race him with his chainsaws. Love the vehicles in this game. Huge improvement on the first. I feel like first had good vehicles, but you know, this game really takes it to a different level. Like, you know, you could make like races out of this, you know what I mean? Like, you could have a racing mini game just around how good the bike physics are in this, and not amazing, but you know, they're fun. It's fluent. Maybe they didn't use Havoc for this. Maybe they wrote their own physics library, or they had their own for this game, because it certainly seems well integrated. You know, it seems like they knew what they were doing. This guy's kind of a chump, though. He's not a huge problem, especially now when you have LMG. Bosses have a weird rule on them where like you can only damage them so much at one time, which is, that's a weird, like, that's like a rule that you would see in like a different type of game. It's not like you're doing crazy burst damage in Dead Rising 2, you know? You can just kind of do stuff sometimes, but maybe it's to prevent them from being stun locked, but you can only give them so much damage a second, as you can see there. They kind of become invincible. They have a little rebirth period. Just so iconic, man. Just look at this game. So iconic, it's crazy. Been a huge part of my I don't know how my aesthetical sort of overview on games and how I look at them. Where the fuck did he go? Maybe I won't even finish it. I think I've pretty much gotten my Dead Rising therapy session out of the way. I can stop thinking about this game for another 6 months or something like that. I'm sure I'll be back. This game's a real crutch, man. I remember being like bummed out at work, and I would come home and play this game, and it would just be like just doing nothing, just walking around. I had that period with Yakuza as well. Just turn off all of the HUD and walk around really slowly and look at stuff, just to decompress from like real life. So yeah, this game is good. This game is a good emotional crutch, I think. It's a good value. I can't even find this guy to fight him. Would be wrong if we ended it without any decent gameplay. Look, he gets stuck over here because his pathing is so bad. There we go. Whoa, the shotgun does a lot. Point blank. So this game's definitely more corny than the first one. Like, way more. Because, like, people for real be dying in, like, insane, horrific ways, and Chuck has to, like, make a joke about it. Frank was just like disgusted, but Frank becomes just as bad and off the record. So that's right, bunny slippers and all. Always hated it. Had like, so the cutscenes aren't pre-rendered, but the particles have like an FPS limit on them, so stuff just like doesn't. Maybe they intended to cap the game at 30. I don't know. But the particles can't keep up a lot of the time. You can see it there, yeah. Man, that looks terrible. The fire looks so bad in this game as well. I mean, that's maybe like 5-10 frames a second. Like, I don't know what's up with that. Yeah, so that's super like, it's a very die-hard moment. I don't know why anyone would say that, but Chuck's cool, I guess. He's like an American action hero, but he's Canadian. So I don't know. It's pretty cool. Little sort butt head over here. Look at this, man. I love this area with the awning up here and the neon. I was playing around with Off the Record, and I got path tracing working in Reshade in this area. It looked really nice. Maybe if I do an Off the Record video, I'll be able to show that. But yeah, I guess that's it. Hopefully that wasn't a drivel for an hour and 20 minutes. But I just wanted to take the opportunity to... Oops, I hit my mic. Just wanted to take the opportunity to talk about a game that I like for a little while. Hopefully I can do some more.